Welcome to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm your host, Woody Zimmerman, here with Mark Skibowski of RE/MAX Lakes, and welcome to the show.
Good morning, how are you?
Doing well.
Here we are.
And here we are. And I'll tell you what, it just seems like the market has stayed really hot. I mean, through this whole COVID-19 thing and everything that's been going on for the past couple of months, the market it's staying pretty hot.
Yeah, you know it is, and it goes back to it's local, because if you watch national media, there are markets, the states are fully open now this week.
Yeah.
Finally.
Right.
All 50 states have opened. Now, whatever stage of opening they're in, who knows? But in certain areas, real estate has been down. I mean, because they were shut down. Michigan, you see on the news the protesters. You know, hey, it's like we're in jail, right? I mean, I think it's a little extreme, but they're protesting against the governor with the shutdown order.
I think Michigan's shutdown was a lot different than Indiana's shutdown.
Absolutely, I think it was totally different.
Yeah,
and it comes from leadership at the top, I think. So Governor Holcomb, good work.
Yeah,
that's all I can say.
Yeah.
But locally, it is definitely the market has still remained pretty good. Pockets, as usual, typically the lake market would have taken off a little sooner than it has. We're starting to see that, Memorial Day weekend, start of summer, people have opened their lake cottages up and those kind of things. And we're just getting to that.
And we got good weather this weekend too as
finally.
well. I know,
finally. Those pictures, the flooding in Chicago, and we've experienced some high water and things like that here. So maybe it's a forecast of what's to come. What more can 2020 throw at us?
Right, I know.
I don't know. But, so, we get to ask the question, it's a good time for buyers, or a hot time for buyers. Mm-hmm. Is it a good time to be selling? Mm-hmm. And I think the answer to that is yes.
Okay.
When I say it's a good time for buyers, you just need to be prepared to potentially be in multiple offer situations. And from a seller's perspective, that's always music to their ears, right?
Yeah.
Multiple offers,
yes.
Ding, ding, ding,
That's
ring
nice.
the bell. We've got lots of people interested in our property. So, ultimately that leads to better offers for sellers, typically, when we're seeing those multiple offers. But ultimately it comes down to price right. Price your property correctly, and, you'll get activity on it. So backing up a little bit, what's your why? Why are you going to sell? Are you trying to do it to take advantage of the market right now being as good as it is? And one thing I always caution people is, well, where are you going to go? Mm-hmm. If you're going to stay local and you're going to buy, there is not a lot of inventory out there. So what's your plan? Some people don't want to do a double move. They do not want to pack their stuff up, put it in storage, go to interim housing for the short term, and then move into the property they're going to buy because they finally find something that suits them.
Right.
We've got others that have their, they're ready to go. They can buy without having to sell their house, and all pieces in between. Mm-hmm. So you really need to think about that. That needs to be part of your plan, because your house, if it's priced properly and in decent condition, will probably sell pretty quickly. So if that's the case, what's your plan after that?
Right. Yeah. It just seems like all the houses that I see that are popping up are still moving very, very quickly.
Yeah, they're tending to move quick. Mm-hmm. And when we finish the month out, we get into June and we can recap May. That'll be a big indicator for me, because we shut down in March.
Yeah.
Right? April, at the end of April, the numbers were still good on the sales front. Prices were up. In Warsaw proper, 46580 zip code, sales had increased year over year. We'll see how May has come. All I can tell you from looking at it every day, there's new listings that hit the market, and I'm telling you, they're contingent the next day. Mm-hmm. They're not on the market very long. Yeah. So, from a seller's standpoint, it is a good time to come out there with my cautionary tale. What's your plan if you sell your house that quickly?
Okay.
And it all goes back to what's your why for selling? Hey, we want to take advantage of this. We have to move. We need a bigger place. We're sick of each other. We've been trapped for 6-7 weeks in the same house in a smaller area. We know we need something a little bigger. We would like a bigger yard for our kids. Whatever that is.
Right.
What's your why? Next step, have an agent come out and take a look at your house.
Okay.
Give you some, perspective on what's the market look like specific to your home. Because again, we talk in generalities about the national, and we say local. But you know what? It's funny. Individual neighborhoods or individual streets, they're all different. Everything is different. Whether it's a lake, whether it's specifically residential, downtown Warsaw, Claypool, Silver Lake, each market is a little bit different.
All right, so we're going to talk more about that coming up here next. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. You're listening to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm your host, Woody Zimmerman, here with Mark Skibowski of Remax Lakes. And we're talking about selling, and we discussed it really is a good time to sell right now.
It is a good time. You need to be ready, as I just mentioned. But, have an agent come out and give you some pointers on what can I do to improve my house to make it ready to sell.
Yeah, there's little things.
There's little things. And you don't have to spend a lot of money. I had somebody this week, they've got a property that they've had in rental for a while, and they know they need to make some improvements to it. So I went out, looked at it, did a market analysis for them, which that's, again, the first step. Take a look at the house, do a market analysis.
Yeah.
We came up with a range where we think it would sell at, and then they started throwing at me, well, what if I do this? What if I put in new kitchen cabinets? What if I put in new countertops? What if I put in new flooring? What if I paint it? What if I this? What if I that? The unfortunate part, when you are getting ready to sell and you spend those dollars just prior to putting it on the market, you're probably not going to get dollar for dollar back. Okay? I mean, bottom line, you're not. So you've got the gold nails or you've got brand new cabinets. What value does that add to potential buyers? Now the difference is if you've got a house that's completely in a shambles, obviously those improvements are going to increase the market value. But if you have fully functional, maybe somewhat dated cabinetry in your house, maybe it's poles, maybe they need to be painted, maybe there's alternatives besides completely replacing them, but going in and ripping out and putting in $8,000 worth of cabinets is not going to return for you. You're not going to jack the price up on your potential sales price because buyers care that the cabinets are in decent shape.
Yeah.
They don't care that they're brand new. Okay. Now again, there's nothing wrong with if the house is a mess.
Yeah.
If the cabinets, the doors are broken and all those things, I'm not saying don't fix those things. Maybe replacing the cabinets is the right thing at that point. But if the cabinets are functional, maybe just need a little TLC, I would spend $500 maybe on paint and poles versus $8,000 on brand new cabinets. And I'm using $8,000. Average kitchen is pretty pricey.
Right.
If you're going to replace all the cabinetry.
Sure.
Same thing with countertops. We get that well, should I put in granite countertops? Well, if you're a $120,000 house, putting in granite countertops or quartz countertops is probably not going to return for you. And why is that? In a $120,000 house, that's not the normal expectation for quartz or granite countertops. Again, you don't want it dirty, filthy, nasty, chipped up, burn marks, all of those things in it. The nice shiny penny sells, but making major improvements 3 weeks before you're going to put it on the market, unless it really needed it, you're probably not going to see those dollars come back to you. Okay. So, my advice to this client was, hey, if you can paint the cabinets, paint the cabinets. Make it look nice. You got that fresh paint smell, those kind of things. Great. If the carpet is shabby and you got holes, your dog's chewed it up and ripped it up and all of those things, and I get that. Well, I really don't want to spend the money. I'd rather give a carpet allowance. My advice at that point is, let's just price it with the carpet where it is. Because if you give that allowance, again, this is just Mark's perspective. There's no scientific study that says this happens. But just psychologically, if I go into a house and it's listed at $120,000, and the seller has already told me, well, I'll give you an allowance of $5,000 to fix these things up. What are you going to do as a buyer?
Well, yeah, you're going to knock it down in price right from the get-go.
You're going to knock it down by $5,000.
Yeah.
You're going to assume that it all needs to be done. You're going to knock it down by $5,000 and maybe $5,000 more.
Yeah, right.
That's just psychological. So if you're thinking about offering an allowance, and in some cases it works, it's effective. I've seen it, but more likely than not, in more cases than not, I've seen it not work. I've seen, people will reduce the price by whatever the allowance is, and then still ask for the allowance.
Right.
So, price it in the condition that the house is in now, rather than offering these allowances and all those things. And again, market conditions can indicate that. If all of your showings say we're priced at 120 and every bit of feedback we get says, hey, the carpet needs to be replaced, not worth it, price too high, blah, then adjust your price rather than throw that allowance out there. The other alternative is to put in carpet. Now, many sellers don't want to spend any money up front. I get that because it's out of pocket.
Right.
I'm spending, $1,000 or $2,000 to put new carpet, or $3, $4, $5, whatever it is. They don't want to spend that money up front. And the biggest argument that I get there is, well, I don't know, they're probably going to want to change it anyways. What if I pick the wrong color? So my answer to that is be neutral. You know what I mean? New carpet goes a long way. Make sure it matches. Don't go buy a remnant, fluorescent orange, carpet because it's cheap.
Yeah.
Buy something that's neutral, that is in line with the quality of the home that you're selling. So if it's a lake property, and you're going to replace the carpet, don't go put the stuff where you can see the padding beneath it, right? Hey, we want to sell our house at maximum dollars, but we're going to put the cheapest possible carpet, in this house. The buyers in specific price levels have different expectations. Like I mentioned, a $120,000 buyer does not expect granite or quartz countertops. Now, they may want it, but it's not the expectation. Most of the homes they see are not going to have that in that. But in a $700,000 lake house, it better be a pretty darn nice house.
Right.
Unless we're talking Wawasee, which $700,000 buys you a lot, right? A tear down.
Yeah.
But if you're looking on Tippy, if you're looking on Big Chapman, something like that, when you get to that higher priced home, whatever you're doing for repairs to your house or updates to your house to get it ready for selling, make it comparable to the marketplace that you're in. And then maybe you'll get that return back.
Right, makes sense. And we've only got about one more minute. I just want to bring this up. Rates
are fantastic.
Yeah.
I did read an article this week to where people with great credit may see 2.5% interest rates. Now, again, people heard the 2.5%. They didn't hear the people with great credit will may see 2.5%. It's coming. Around 3% is pretty good right now. 3.25%. I'm seeing them that on closings for 30-year fixed.
Wow.
Amazing.
That is amazing.
Amazing. All-time lows.
Never in my lifetime have I ever seen 2.5%.
Right.
And again, it's got to be great credit.
Got to be great credit. It all depends. That's my agents. They hear it all the time. It all depends.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Hey, Mark, your contact information?
Sure. Website's lakes-realtors.com. Phone number's 574-834-1233.
Okay. Hit Mark up if you have any questions about real estate at all. You have been listening to Real Estate in Real Time. I'm your host, Woody Zimmerman. Have yourself a wonderful weekend.